Hello, everybody. We are Team One here to present about our findings on Cloe. This is our team. We are Azaret, Cristal, Fernando, José Eduardo, and me, Victor. Going over the agenda, it will be presented the company and exportable products, the industry and commercial trends, target market size and characteristics, target market selection, and overall conclusions. First, starting off with the company, Cloe. Cloe is a highly recognizable brand in the industry of Mexico with approximately 600 talented employees and high potential for internationalization. Their strength is that they have 100% original designs. The weakness is that their competitors have better distribution channels. Some threats are the COVID economic crisis and the decrease of growth in the industry, but the opportunities can be seen as e-commerce growth and in the Asia Pacific region. The first product to export is the HSK code 420222, which is handbags even with a shoulder strap or without handles, with the outer surface of plastic or textile sheets. And the second product is HSK code 420292, which is everything else mentioned with the outer surface of textile materials, except that included in the section 42029203. Now for the tariff barriers from China to the countries at hand, it was found in MacMap that the lowest are Singapore, Philippines, Thailand, and Malaysia with 0%. And for the second product, also Singapore, Philippines, Thailand, and Malaysia with 0% tariff.
Now the industry and commercial trends. Regarding the industry, the compound annual growth rate is expected to reach 7.3% by 2025. The COVID-19 pandemic hit hard the industry, and the regional performing was way better than the global one due to the closure of customs. The value of the industries went down 29% in 2020, but is expected to reach $35,000 million by 2025. Also, the regions the most price sensitive were Asia Pacific and Latin America. Regarding the industry trends, people are preferring to stay at home and buy on the internet through the e-commerce. There are some innovations implemented in handbags, such as including a GPS and a scooter bag. People are preferring to buy comfortable items that let them hands-free. And finally, it's expected that after this pandemic, people go back to high-end products. The top regional importers regarding the first product is South Korea with around $4,100, and of the second product, Japan with over $2,000,000. The top regional exporters are for the first product, Singapore with around $700,000, and for the second product, Indonesia with around $300,000.
For Chloe's target market, it is focused on young, fashionable customers, which have a bit of a higher income than average. In the social aspect, South Korea has a bigger population in comparison to Singapore, as its population is over 51 million, while Singapore has a population of almost 6 million. In Singapore, only 15% of its population earns more than average income per household, while in South Korea, 58.3% of its population are considered middle class. In the technological factor, it was decided to use two standards to grade these countries, which are the use of credit cards and internet access. In Singapore, 48% of its population use their own credit card, which is good in comparison to other countries. However, in South Korea, 63% of its population use it. And as for the use of internet, both countries have a good access to it, as 81% of Singapore's population has internet access, while in South Korea, almost every citizen can make use of it, as 90% of its population have internet access.
In relation to political aspects, both countries has a grade of A3, which basically means that are good countries to make business. In relation to the freedom, Singapore has a score of 49, which is a regular or bad score. And South Korea has a score of 83, which is an excellent score according to Freedom House. Then we have economical aspects. Singapore has a GDP per capita of $15,000, an annual growth rate of negative 0.013%, and an inflation of 2.9% according to the World Bank. In relation to South Korea, it has a GDP per capita around $43,000, an annual growth rate of a negative 1.20% and an inflation of 1.50%, according to the World Bank.
So for the target market selection, here's our weekly analysis on both countries. First, in the political, as previously said, both received an A3, which is basically the same grade for both. Then in the legal aspects, Singapore has a preferential 0% duty, but South Korea has an advantage on the regulatory requirements since they have 19 and Singapore has none. Well, we didn't find the information on those regulatory requirements. And then economical aspects, the household income is higher in South Korea since the middle class is also a bit higher. The inflation is also higher in South Korea, but we found that as an advantage due to consumer spending. The GDP per capita is higher in Singapore, and the competition at country level is basically the same on both. And then the social aspect is where South Korea really stands apart because its population is nearly 10 times bigger. And also, as previously said, the middle class is also much bigger since in Singapore it's only 15% more than middle and in South Korea 58.2%. And then finally, the technological aspect, they're both really similar, but South Korea also has a higher percentage on both the usage of credit card and the access to internet. So the final factors that stand apart with South Korea being a better option is the size of the country, since it has 10 times more population than Singapore, and it offers a more variety on the market and the points of sale. The regulation, as South Korea has 19 regulatory requirements, and that gives us more confidence for the importation. And there is much more availability in imports in South Korea than there is in Singapore. And finally, the score in the weekly, South Korea received a 179 and Singapore 136.
Thank you.